The reason why I say that is that when you're teaching people something, tell them what you're going to tell them. Then tell them. And then once you've done that, you tell them again what you told them. Stage where you are telling us what you told us. Yeah, raise your voice and tell us again what you said about the seed.
So this is a seed pod. The seed pod, it's called that it looks like this because it has seeds inside. You can tell there's three inside each pod. So through a seed will, the pod will open up, the seed will fall out. Then they'll now then grow and they'll then grow up. They'll then grow into a tree, which will also bear the same pod, which will repeat the process of
Excellent.
making.
Excellent. Now, this old man has lost his glasses. Maybe I left them at the back there. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, my glasses now, they are found. Samuel says, one day, those seeds that came out of the pod will become a tree that will have pods like that as well. So inside one of those seeds, it is Samuel's argument that inside that one seed is a tree. Would you agree? And inside that seed, the tree itself will produce pods, and he showed us what the pods will look like. The pods that will come out of the tree that we haven't seen, that is still inside the seed that Samuel is holding. That's crazy, but it's true. Because since God created the moon tree, he hasn't come back to create another moon the tree. But the tree that he created had seed. Inside that seed came out a tree which had thousands of pods. Inside those pods came out seeds that had thousands of trees inside those pods. That is what God intended with you and I. That we be the seed to produce more trees, more human beings. That is why he is not creating another Adam outside. He hasn't come back to create another tree, because in us, he put, that is why man is important, guys. Without men, there are no people. Period. So you and I cannot look down upon ourselves and think we are not important, because in us is the seed that will produce other men, in whom there will be seed, physical seed, to produce yet some more men. As it is in the physical, and so it is in the spiritual. And so it is in the emotional and many other ways. I think I'm ready to share with you some diagrams that came in the middle of the night after that rubbished all the notes that I'd written. So I'm going to go through those diagrams with us. Thank you, Sam. You made my life much easier. I want to talk to you. I want to share with all of us 3 sons that I have and 3 fathers that I've had or that I have. It is important that I do that so that it is easy for me to explain concepts, shades, ideas, representations of fatherhood. The first thing that I want to do, the first set of diagrams has to do with three guys who are my sons. You know that biologically I do not have sons. Did you pick that up? You picked that up and did it. So although I don't have sons biologically, I still have sons. One of them called me this morning, but I'm not going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about the guy who called me yesterday. And when I spoke to my wife this morning, when we finished and we were going to tea break, my wife called. That phone that rang, you remember that call? That was my wife. She didn't know that I was actually speaking. I cut the call. I normally don't do that, but I cut the call. Then later, when I came back from when you were playing volleyball, I came to call it, say, so that I returned the call. And she said, one of your sons called. He was at the church site at 5 o'clock this morning. We're building a church in 5th Street, in Bulawayo. So he's pouring the deck. So I think he wanted to know, he had forgotten that I'm here. He thought it was yesterday I was speaking here, thinking that this morning you'd call me and say, Dad, can I come and pick you? Let's go and pour concrete. So when he couldn't get through, he spoke to his mom. So that's the call that my wife phoned. His name is Grayson Chipote. He's an investment banker. And he's a young Christian man with a family. His sons are going to high school. Grayson is amazing in many ways. Right now, like I'm saying, he's pouring concrete on the deck because we're building a church. That's Grayson. He called me. He became my son out of his choice. Some tragedy happened, and he says I was there to help him. I didn't know. I remember driving to Shavane and doing also several times and doing stuff with him and just being there. I didn't say much. I was just with him. Anyhow, he's my son. He's bigger than me. I think he's twice as smart as I'll ever be. And although I'm not his physical dad, I'm still his dad. Let me leave Grayson alone. In case he stops while I'm talking, I want him to carry on with some work. I want to talk to you about another Ananzi Nyasha Mateo. Nyasha called me last week, lives in Joburg. He has his family there, became a son more than 20 years ago. And he and I got attached when he lost his dad physically, and we went to bury him. So for years, while we were in Harare, we spent a lot of time together. I don't know how it happened, but he lives in my heart, and I live in his heart. I trust him, trusts me. We talk about life, we talk things. Anyway, that's Nyasha. Let me leave him alone. Then about 2 weeks ago, maybe less, I got a call from a young man who is in the US. He's at school, he's at university. But this guy, his name is Kudzwai Kandima, and Kudzwai is a brilliant young man who is doing medicine. But he's been my friend since he was 4. You heard me talk about we can start learning about being a dad when we are 4. That number is not something that I sucked out of my thumb. It came out of my relationship with Kudzwai. I don't know how old he is. He's probably doing 3rd year at university now, doing medicine. But one day he walked up to me when we were at Mbare Community Church. He stopped me. He was this big. And he looked at me like this. He says to me, "Can I call you Dad?" I said, "Yes, sure. Kuku, you can call me Dad." And he's called me that since that day, since he was 4. That boy. Since Kuku was 4. And he phoned me 2 weeks ago. It's a choice, guys. What is it? It is a choice. I won't tell you what was going on with his physical dad. Do you know some people can be present but absent? Did you know that? You can be present physically there, but you are not there. Who called me? So I asked him how college was going. Oh, yeah, I know. He called me on my birthday, on the 8th of June. That's when he called me. He called me on my birthday. So when was Father's Day? Was it 18th? Somewhere there. He either called me on my birthday on the 8th of June or he called me on Father's Day. One of those two. I can't remember when Kuku called me. One of those 2 days. It was either my birthday or Father's Day. It is a choice, guys, to be able to, I am not saying discard your biological father. I am saying if you do not have your biological father, or your biological father has made choices or is at a stage where he is doing things, don't say, "Oh, I'm going to do this because of the mistake. I can't be anybody, or I can't do things because of the mistakes my dad has made." No, it's a choice. Can you hear me? I'm not saying people must discard their biological fathers. I'm just saying it is wrong to go away fatherless. Kuku just proved it to me. Let me leave my sons. Let me talk about fathers. It's the second time I'm going to talk about MW Mikawa Chimpof, who started teaching me mathematics in Form 1, 1969, and until the day he died. Him and his wife, even after he's gone, my Mpofu called me on my birthday. And she starts by laughing. You know what she's like? She starts by laughing. And she says, "Yeah, happy birthday, Iko. Yeah." And then she talks. Just when our daughter was getting married, Mampov and Babampov came to Harare. And they said, "Tine mvunzo, taweo kuno ku Harare tizobvunza mvunzo." And then I kept quiet because I knew, these two ask me a question. Never. I just want you to understand, to see issues of fatherhood, so that I say things without saying them. Do you understand that? So we said that she can ask. Then she said, and I know she was talking for Baba, Dad wasn't speaking. He was just quiet. But I knew that this is a question that these two people, they can't come from Gweru to come and ask me a question. So I said, so who's getting married? We hear Panem Chatu. And I'm saying, these people, they've got the cards, they know everything. Why are they asking me this question? I'm inviting you to listen, not to just the words that people say, but to what they're saying without saying that. You are going to find it very important, even from the age of 4 until you get to 400, to be able to hear what people are saying. So Mom said, we hear there is a wedding here. And then we said, yes. She said, Saka, who's getting married? And so we told them, it's Yeukai. And they said, oh, so you have had your wedding. And it's Yeukai who's getting married. Okay, that's fine. We didn't know, we just wanted to find out. What they were saying was that we've had our chance, we got married, we did our wedding, this is our daughter's wedding. And therefore, we mustn't try and correct the things that we couldn't get right at our own wedding, in our daughter's wedding. Can we allow our daughter to get married the way she wants to get married so that we don't impose our things, our ideas on her wedding, so that she can have a chance to do her own wedding the way that, do you get that? You get it? I'll leave Mr. Mpofu alone and his wife. He's my father. He might not be here, but he's still my dad. He might not be my physical dad, but he's my dad. He wanted everything to go well for me. The next one I want to talk about is Baba Mkwananz, who was the head of the Assemblies of God Church, Back to God Crusade. He would preach for 3 weeks every day in a row. He taught me a lot of scripture without sitting me down. At one stage, he had lots of problems in the church, and I saw what was going on, and what I learned from him was that you can forgive even the most difficult things. I'll leave Baba Mkwananz alone. I learned that from him, that as leaders of families and organizations, we must learn to walk away from anything that has hurt us. We must learn to forgive. Because, guys, you can't carry stuff in your heart. Your heart is not a dustbin. If something has hurt you, deal with it, finish it, and move on. Because fathers' hearts cannot keep carrying hurt and bitterness, and because you can't be a good dad carrying all that bitterness. Even if wakangansirwa, yes, it's fine. People have been wrong. People have done the wrong things. People have hurt you. But for goodness sake, you have a duty to walk a forgiven life so that people taste goodness from you. Because hurt people hurt people. Because you've been hurt before, if you don't let that go, you will hurt others. Because you'll be carrying all that bitterness and gall inside your heart. Baba Mkwananz taught me that. Whether I've been able to do it, I don't know. I will try. I'm learning a little bit to be a father like Baba Mkwananz was. He wasn't my biological father. He taught me spiritual things. He still is my father. We laid him down to rest in Escodini somewhere, but he's still my father. It's in the book. You'll see his picture of you by the book. What am I saying? I'm saying they are biological fathers. My biological father was like my plumb line. Do you know what a plumb line is? Do you see how straight this is? Do you see how straight the roof is? It isn't like that. It isn't like that. It isn't like that. There's a plumb line they used to make sure that this roof is straight. In a sense, my biological father was like a plumb line for me. Let me explain that. He didn't go to school as much as I did. He was corresponding when I standard 4. At some point, he failed to pay fees for me, but he supported what I did to find fees. So, in a sense, without him, we couldn't have found the money to go to school the way we did. When I joined the bank, I was not even 21. So he signed my forms to join them. My dad was like my plumb line. And I call him Baba. So a lot of what I am and who I am, apart from physically being his seed, I'm his son. And I acknowledge him. So maybe some of you will become astronauts and you'll start looking down on your fathers. Maybe some of you drive cars that your fathers never ever saw the inside of. They're still your dads. Ndo baba wangu yao was my plumb line. Why? He taught me to tell the truth. And let me count the things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe there are more than 9. He told me, Baba wangu asingadinye, my father did not like somebody who tells lies. Don't tell lies. Number 2, order. Order. You must do things in an orderly fashion. 3, work. I told you about the hours he would wake. I don't think, I promise you, even to this day, I'm sure the hours that my dad used to wake, they are still not on the clock. There's no hour like that on the clock. But he taught me how to. Now I work on my own. He's not here, but I work. I work. So that's the standard that he gave. Finish line. Don't start things that you don't finish. The house that he wanted to build in the village, he finished it. Would go and get Mapango Komrima, would go and get those poles. I would throw bricks at him while he's on top because he'd make ladders and get there and I would throw a brick after. And he laid those bricks until we finished that house. And we lived in that house because my father built it. He finished that house. So when I start something, I want to finish it. Because I saw, even when it's hard, but because I saw how Baba would just, he was a short little guy like this, but he did not give up. So at school, because I'm not fast, I wasn't fast on the track, I ran the 3-mile race. Why? Because I didn't have to be fast. I just had to be courageous. When everybody stops, I keep going. I manage my breath and I keep going. I keep going. Because I must finish. What would I tell my dad if I got into a race and at the end I finished on the tighter 12 rounds? So how do I tell my father, I went into a race, I dropped dead on the seventh round? I can't do that. Because he say, saka mjena mazomira pa seventh round. Ko 8, 9, 10, mamchiti tichamhanywanani kana imagara pasi. When you have sat down, who do you think was going to finish 7, 8, 9 to 12? Maybe next time we go to 1 mile, which is 4 rounds. Don't go and do 12 rounds because going? Because I didn't want to go and explain that to my plumb line. I'd run that. My dad wouldn't be anywhere at school there, but I'd run that and finish because I know Baba finishes. So you might not be a dad now, but those are the things that your sons need to learn from you. Discipline. I think one of the things that I was afraid of to get into trouble at school or on the streets was that I do not want the police to come to my dad's house and ask them if Dominic Magwada lives here. Are you the dead? Ndimbaba Dominic. For my father to answer the police because of something I did. Let everybody else do that. And in my village, if people want to go and be in jail, take this name that I'm sharing with them. If they want to, they can take it to jail. I'm not going. I'm not the one. And I know jail, not me. Because I don't want the effect that would have on my dad. Mercy. Several people came and stayed with us over the years in our house. We just had three-bedroom, 3-roomed house in the town. You know what it's like. Maybe some of you don't live in the townships like some of us grew up. But yeah, Mercy, my dad would bring mercy and relationships. My dad, I don't agree with some of it. I don't do what my dad did because I'm in a different stage of life. But what he was doing was that he was showing mercy and he was keeping relationships because people are more important than things. That has become our motto in my own family. That when you come, if you ask any of our children, if you ask my wife, what is it that this family believe? We believe that people are more important than things. Things include money, position, and everything. Dependability. My father taught me how to be dependable. Responsibility. My father. Last night I was working with. Maybe I was working with Baba Charai, and I saw something and I picked it. Because this place is well clean, it's clean, it's well swept. The next piece of litter that somebody threw, I picked it, but I think he said, "No, this one is mine." Yeah, and what does that mean, guys? We need to be responsible. When we leave this place, it must be cleaner than we found it. Let not there be found a piece of a sweet wrap or something that wasn't here before we came, that is now on the ground because we were here. If you find it, it will not be mine. I can tell you that. You will, if you find some litter in the bin, I will have done that. Not on the ground. You will not find it. My father taught me responsibility. So that's just my biological father. My spiritual father was Babam Kwananzi, Babam Pofu. Socially, my dad and other people. Conceptually, Babam Pofu was teaching me things. To this day, I still have people I look up to who teach me things. One of the people who is a lady. She's not my father. But I'm talking about allowing ourselves to be taught by other people. The editor of my book, the Pineapple, is a lady. I have a lot of time for that lady. Can you clap hands for me while I drink water? Thank you. Let me tell you why I did that. There's a guy called Grayson I was telling you about. Maybe I don't even know if he's speaking well. He says, "Don't you think I'm doing well? Can you clap hands from?" So I'm going to tell him I did that thing that I don't like. I asked people to clap hands for me. Fatherhood. Samuel showed us those seeds. And he said, inside those seeds are going to germinate. And they have trees. Gentlemen, that's who you are. You have nations coming out of you. There are people who are going to be very different because of what you do. If you choose not to, it's a choice. But fathers are progenitors. Fathers are protectors. Fathers are providers. Inside the father, there is seed. There's physical seed to have other children. This is why, even I don't know how people think about this. When a woman marries a woman, let me just leave it. I'm not there. So, fatherhood provides not only protection, but provides guardrails, like I explained the 9 things that I believe I learned from my dad. We become a certain type of person. In the physical, I'm a black man from Africa, from Zimbabwe, basically from Kwashoshe in Wedza. That is my identity. That is who I am. And I got it from my dad. I couldn't have got that from anyone else. He might not be here, but I'm here. I'm a mini or a small representation of who my dad was. How will those sons that you will have think when you're gone? This thing of fatherhood is huge, guys. It is huge. Why do people like Stalin, why do people like Hitler do what they do? Go and read about them. Try and find out who their fathers were and what their fathers did. This thing is big, guys. This thing is big. All right, let me leave it there. Go. Father issues, they are huge, guys. And this is, let me tell you, we are onto something here. Guys, don't let this thing stop. If people knew what it means, we actually should have a university about fatherhood. I'm not talking about parenting, just being fathers, because it's those delinquent fathers who have caused so much damage, or we have allowed them to cause so much damage. Guardrail, that's what I'm talking about. It's not Isporo says stimela. Can you imagine a train without rail tracks? Just imagine for 1 second. Would the train be going if it doesn't have rail tracks? Would it go anywhere? Can't. That is the purpose of fatherhood. It doesn't matter what a train, how many matrox, how many trucks it's got. It doesn't matter how long it is. It needs guardrails. It needs not guardrails, but guardrails in the eye so that you don't fall for protection. It needs rail tracks. Fatherhood is like that. They are mentors, they are markers, they are a coach, they guide, teach us language and skill. They're teachers. They introduce us to customs and rules, to norms and trades. My grandfather used to make mapadza, hoes and axes. I didn't end up doing that. But there are certain things that my dad used to do that I still do to this day. The things that my granddad used to do that I do now. Sons are the future. What we put into them now will happen way after we're gone. The uprightness that I am wanting to promote, I learned from my dad. How are we doing for time, guys? 12:27. What time am I supposed to stop? Sorry? So, in?
15 minutes.
In 15 minutes time. Oh, that's...
Sorry, we have until 1.
I have until 1. No, I'm not going to go until 1 because everybody will be asleep by that time. Have you ever seen a person who's so boring? Goodness gracious. So Johnny was in church with his mother, and Johnny was getting quite restless. And he was fidgeting, and his mother would say, please, can you stop making noise? And then his mother kept, and he says, Mom, when is he gonna finish? And the mother said, don't worry, son, that's the problem. He finished a long time ago. I shouldn't go to but and I'm only starting now. So dads are progenitors, they are protectors, they are guardrails, they are providers. They are not ATM machines. Sometimes as sons, we lose the plot. We forget that our dads are human. We think, they are ATMs. So let me tell you, one day I'm sitting at home, and my daughter, she's 38 now. She comes and she says, Dad, I say, yeah. She says, do you have a checkbook? Masvaya, we used to have checkbooks. Maybe you guys have, I don't have a checkbook now. I have old checkbooks that haven't been used. I ran out of money way long ago. And now she said, Dad, do you have a checkbook? I said, yes. She's only about 4. She's 4 or 5. She says, Dad, can I borrow a checkbook? You want to borrow my checkbook? She goes, yes, I want to borrow it. What do you want to do? She goes, I want to go and buy a t-shirt. She thinks my checkbook always has money in it so that she can go and... So sometimes as sons, we fail to understand that this man who's my father, yes, he might look like Rambo, but sometimes he runs out of money. Marino Pero, man. Guys, let me tell you, sometimes money runs out. Yes, if there's anybody who wants you to wear the latest sneakers, it's him. There's no way to do it. He would like to buy you the latest stuff. But guys, sometimes the money runs out. Yeah, they're human. And sometimes they lose the plot as well, these fathers. Maybe some of them haven't ever been taught how to deal with somebody like you. So it happens, guys. And half the time we don't know what they are carrying. Yeah. There's Maybe like my dad was a messenger where you worked, and he made tea for people. And when he comes in, I think he's as good as the mayor. But this guy, he cycled to town on an order bike, spent the whole day going up and down, taking orders from these little white girls or these middle-aged men from wherever they come from, and they've been sending my father around all day. He comes home, he just wants 5 minutes peace. I'm on his case. And I think he should do this. They're human, these fathers. You too. You guys, who are still in your, who's 15 years old here, or less than 15? Yeah, okay. You guys, you are the perfect dads that I have now. Because you haven't made a mistake yet. But wait, you're going to have sons. You might have 4 sons each. I don't know what you're going to have. But they will do what you are doing. Just have mercy on your dad right now, because it will come to bite you. I am telling you, you also will be dead. And you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes. Actually, all of you put together, I don't think we take whatever mistakes you've made, the mistakes that you're going to make, put them all together, they will not be equal to, they will be less than the mistakes I've made. So I'm speaking here, but I've also made lots of mistakes. Lots of mistakes. The thing is, learn to say you're sorry. Strong men apologize. Strong men admit their mistakes. They face up to what they've done wrong. They pick up the piece of paper that's in front of them and they deal with it. And they will say, I am sorry, I was wrong. I didn't see it like that. I apologize. I'll try again. So let's start practicing that before we are dads. While we are still 15, while we are still 12, let's start to learn how to be disciplined, to be honest, to tell the truth, and to apologize when we are wrong. Because we are the future hope of our fathers and society, those who come before us. We are the refined specimen of who they were. We are the depository or the bank of what they are laying aside for the future as we learn from them. We are the apprentice dads. Ndopedza mama so. I have read a lot of books. I have read the books about fatherhood from writers from the West. Let me just put it out there and say, there are many things that are similar to being a father